Hello there, welcome to my reaction to the story of Team Fortress 2's Strangest Player. This video has been around for a while now, and I've seen it when it came out, but I was extremely lazy and I didn't do any kind of reaction to it. But I still put it in my watch later because I thought at some point I will, and I think now's the time, maybe. Or maybe nobody's gonna watch this anyway. um, I specifically checked and I have 44 hours in Team Fortress 2, so I didn't play that much, but also I know a bit around, like I know a bit about the game and how it plays, so I don't think I'm gonna get lost in some kind of, I don't know, terminology. Maybe unless it's very specific, but if it's specific, it's probably gonna be explained. I don't know. Forgot to say that it's on the channel El Maxo, so let's do this, shall we? Like, comment, subscribe, become a member, and let's begin.
This has been a 6-month investigation. I have
Let me
collected
make it
hundreds of
louder.
gigabytes worth of footage. I've spent countless hours scouring the internet, but I think we did it. I think we found the strangest TF2 player of all time. Let me show you. On the 6th of January,
let's do
I
this.
uploaded a video called The NPCs of TF2, which is a short compilation
Bots?
of all the wacky people I'd come across whilst playing TF2.
Oh,
Around
just
8
weirdos.
seconds into this video, there's a clip of me waiting for a health pack to respawn when all of a sudden, I notice a demo man below me who is perched on the side of Hightower's cliff, shooting stickies up at a gap in the floorboards. Now this isn't how most people play TF2, and I did think it was quite bizarre at the time, but it didn't go any deeper than that. I clipped it, I put it in my video, and that was that. A few people commented about how the strategy this demo was using was actually 200 IQ, but besides that, I didn't really think too much of it. Fast forward 18 days to the 24th of January, where I was playing a game on Moss Rock when one of my friends noticed that a huntsman sniper on our team was taunting after every shot they fired. So, like any sane person would, we began to follow them and investigate what tomfoolery they were up to. They picked up a clean kill with the bushwhacker on a flanking demo, and then, well, then something quite spectacular happened.
Surely.
That's right, this random sniper decided to pull off a 360 huntsman shot whilst falling to their imminent death, and it actually worked.
Oh,
This
it hit.
absolutely
Okay, I didn't see
blew me
that.
away, and you may actually recognize this clip because it featured in a video I released later in January called the Auto Balance Atrocity. Now, it was really funny, but again,
alright.
I honestly didn't think too much of it until I saw the comments where people were pointing out that this huntsman sniper who just pulled off the frag
the same
of their
name.
life was the same demo man we saw in my previous video. And that, ladies and gentlemen, was when Bing Soy officially came onto my radar. I don't know what it was exactly, but this discovery got me really interested in Bing Soy because the way he played the game was unlike anything I had ever seen before, and I
Probably
wanted to
a lot
learn
of
more.
hours,
So
and
the
then
following
he's
day,
getting
I got
bored
to
playing
work. I
normally.
started by creating a new text chat on my Discord called Bing Soy Sightings, where people could submit any videos or screenshots they had of his unusual behavior. And to my surprise, we
Genius
started getting
idea.
submissions really quickly. The first video was sent in by one of my admins, Corey, who discovered Bing Soy on Badlands spawn camping in a way that I have never seen before.
It's just air blast. It's just oh.
Like what? Forcibly air blasting someone into water so you can pyro shock them? That takes ingenuity. Another clip from Corey also showed Bing Soy camping his own team's teleporter. Another one of my admins, Legs, found Bing Soy on the map Altitude, where he repeatedly shot at a wall with his shotgun before backpedaling off a cliff to his death. Later that game, Legs also found him peering off into the mountains at the edge of the map, which, I mean, fair enough, it's a pretty scenic view, but why? What compelled him to do this? This juxtaposition between Bing Soy's genuinely impressive plays and creative strategies to, well, this
It just walked off a cliff.
really dumbfounded me. I was so intrigued by the enigma that was
Strange,
Bing Soy, and I had so
bizarre.
many questions that needed answers. So on the 31st of January, I decided it was time for me to suit up and get on the ground myself. My investigation began in the beautiful rainforests of PL Borneo, where I spotted Bing Soy playing Engineer. At first, I didn't see anything too out of the ordinary. I mean, he just seemed to be playing some pretty stock standard Engineer, but later in the match, he swapped to Heavy, where I began to notice some oddities. Rather than holding down mouse 1 to continually shoot like a normal Heavy would, he seemed to really like tap firing with the Tommy Slav as if he were peeking an angle in CSGO. I also noticed that Bing Soy had quite the
no Team Fortress strat,
because he was whipping out that stock minigun taunt after literally anything of any significance happening. He's taunting! Oh, he's dead. The investigation continued on to the next map,
he's
Mountain
dead.
Lab, where things got a lot weirder. I kid you not, but for an entire 60 seconds, Bing Soy was absolutely determined to do this jump, which I am 99% sure is impossible. He did find a little ledge on the rocks you could glitch onto, but ultimately it was to no avail. No, he almost made the jump from the... No. He also seemed to be very paranoid.
was close.
Firing
Not for those
projectiles,
reds.
literally everything on the map as he returned to the front line. And we also got another glimpse of his Huntsman Sniper gameplay, where he would randomly shoot arrows through the floorboards. Things started to get really weird on the next map, Badlands, where Bing Soy was playing Flog Pyro, and for the period of about 15 minutes, did nothing but, well... whatever this is. I don't know if Bing Soy thought there were gang stalkers
AoE.
hiding these walls, but he seemed determined to engulf every single surface of the map in flames, and God, was it just bizarre to watch. I ended up on his team.
I wonder if some kind of mods.
And it was more of the same.
That he's
Except
playing
this time
with.
I was pocketing him, meaning he was actually racking up kills, and he also started taunting directly in front of the enemy team's spawn door, which is just alpha as fuck. You have to respect that. This rampage on Pyro was followed by some scout gameplay, except not the normal kind where you're, shooting, more the kind where you drink bonk to go invincible and then proceed to taunt directly in front of your enemies. Next up, we landed on Stone Coast, where things seemed pretty normal until, Bing Soy is trying to shoot through walls as heavy, which if you didn't know is impossible. Ultimately though, I think Bing Soy finished off the day with perhaps his most daring strategy of jumping off the edge of the map, using the base jumper to float, and then trying to kill gamers as he slowly creeped towards his inevitable death. That one didn't go too
He
well.
did kill
So look,
someone.
that was just one day of observation, and we saw Bing Soy cycle through at least like 10 wacky strategies. There was also some more footage sent to Bing Soy sightings in my Discord by Corey again, and yep, that's him doing his strange little thing. So look, after a full day on the field, we did observe a lot of strange behavior. That much was for sure, but unfortunately
Devious
I wasn't
little
really
creature.
getting closer to understanding why Bing Soy played like this. But that was about to change, because my Discord made a very interesting discovery. Bing Soy had a YouTube channel. Now, it hadn't been active in 2 years, but he had quite the backlog of TF2 content here. The channel started off with some Minecraft videos in early 2018, but that soon turned into some pretty damn good TF2 frag movies. I mean, take a look at the most recent upload, Cliff Enforcer, which features a lot of insane huntsman kills, similar to the one I put in my video. There was also a bunch of pyro-related stuff here, a class which Bing Soy appeared to be actually very good at, judging by the quality of the frags he
I
was
wonder if it has the
channel
inflation
basically
mod
proved
on.
to me that Bing Soy is far from being a noob, and in fact, I actually think he's really good at the game. It's just that he voluntarily handicaps himself with these wacky ass strategies, and I kinda have a respect for that. I guess the only sad part about this discovery was that the channel seemed to be inactive for now, which was unfortunate.
He probably
but
is
it actually
bored
wouldn't
after
remain like that for very long.
maybe
See,
even
a week or so
thousands
had
of
already gone
hours.
by since the formation of Bing Soy sightings at this point, and a cult of personality was starting to emerge around Bing Soy, and he was growing quite the reputation amongst not only my Discord, but the wider Australian TF2 community. People were taking note of him when he was
Oh, that was a
games,
Russian
sending
screenshot.
messages in text chat, and now they were finding his YouTube channel and leaving
But it
comments
is down
there,
on the
too.
Russian
So,
side of
on
YouTube.
February 6th, with a growing buzz around Bing Soy, I decided to once again suit up and track down Mr. Soy. This day's investigation first led me to Landfall, where Bing Soy was experimenting with a new strategy on Heavy. Rather than using his favorite tap-firing Tomislav tactic, he was instead making use of the Buffalo Steak Sandwich and Holiday Punch, meaning he was hunting down enemy gamers to secure some taunt kills. Unfortunately, things weren't going all that well for Bing Soy with this strat, and to top things off, I actually managed to get an accidental telefrag on him whilst I was observing. I telefragged him. He did continue with the taunt kill attempts as we moved over to Viaduct, but again, it didn't seem to land him any success. Things did begin spicing up when we swapped to Process though, as he switched to Demo with the sticky jumper and lock and load. On the first rollout to mid, I ended up dying pretty quickly, but that did not matter because it allowed me to spectate Bing Soy, only to discover, this. He just doesn't look at the map the same way I do. I thought I usually look pretty vertically, but he looks more vertically. After this, he played a little demo night and began taunting after the kills I was getting, which was some nice moral support, but other than that, not too much else occurred. We did have some more footage sent to the Discord,
It's a help
however,
kill
where another
assist.
one of my admins, Chop, found him spawn camping on Sweden in yet another peculiar manner. So look, it wasn't the most fruitful session of stalking Bing Soy, but that didn't matter, because yet again, my Discord had made another very important
His
revelation.
channel might not be
only was a Bing Soy
active,
website discovered,
but he is.
I
What?
happened to feature in it. The homepage of the website had a nice SFM banner where we could make out a few things. Firstly was the background, where we can see Bing Soy included some of his favorite loadouts like Huntsman Sniper, Lock and Load Demo, as well as his fabled spawn camping Pyro Shot. Now the next thing to note was the foreground, where there are 4 figures. The engineer on the left represented Braddles, an Australian TF2 who also runs a really popular high tower server called Have Fun, which is one of Bing Soy's favorite. Now the next figure here is a soldier with a black painted Miami Knights Tyrant's helm, which of course represents myself, and this did come as a bit of a shock to me. To my right was my admin Corey's Pyro, who not only submitted some of those clips I showed before, but it also started to form a bit of a relationship with Bing Soy. And finally, the one who probably doesn't need an introduction is Uncle Dane on the right, and he is featured on the banner because Bing Soy really likes the Uncletopia servers, as he thinks it's a better way of playing TF2 compared to casual. Now it didn't end there either with the website.
I wonder if he's on
in the
Discord.
About section, there was a subheading named Special Thanks.
Might be under a different name.
Special thanks El Maxo has shown the TF2 gaming world that Bing Soy is something more than a myth.
What?
This was absolutely wild, and one of my friends actually said something I was thinking.
We need to seriously consider, is Bing Soy an ARG?
It might be, if it is, that's awesome. With how everything was panning out so far in the investigation, it really seemed like Bing Soy was some manufactured alternate reality rather than a real human being. It was discovered that Bing Soy had a bunch of other channels on YouTube too, one of which featured an animation he created that has over 1 million views. I was honestly in disbelief at what had transpired thus far, and it turns out that was only going to continue, as 4 days later,
because of the bunny Winnie the Pooh
returned from a 2-year hiatus with a fresh upload. The video was titled Requiem, but there was something a bit strange about this upload.
JoJo reference, maybe.
42 seconds showed this cryptic message of a happy stick figure progressively growing sadder and sadder. What? Why? What is happening? I still have no idea what to make of this introduction, by the way, but at the time when I saw it, I was definitely starting to believe that the
boredom
ARG
again? I don't know.
hold more weight than I initially thought. The description also read, something good can come from something bad, which was again, really cryptic, and I'm not fully sure what to make of it. The rest of the video featured some very cool pyro frags on High Tower, but that mysterious ass intro kind of overshadowed that for me. I will say though that Bing Soy did end up pinning my comment, so hey, we've got that going for us. Another 4 days later on February 14th,
recognition.
it seemed we really pulled Bing Soy out of YouTube retirement.
There's definitely more JoJo references around.
Another upload. The video is called Uncletopia One Life Huntsman. The reason I love this video so much is the timestamps, where Bing Soy detailed literally everything that happened in the video. This ranged all the way from retreating at 1 minute to breathing at 34 seconds, and all the way to reflexive shot, shoot or die at 2 minutes and 4 seconds. In a video spanning just over 2 minutes, Bing Soy managed to include over 40 timestamps, which I honestly think is a cool idea that feels pretty avant-garde.
So it's in February. What if... What's the system of YouTube when you put... Like, if you look at the timeline now in the video, it divides it automatically. Was it in February of this year? Like, is his video just divided into, like, over 40 sections, or is it just normal timestamps? Okay.
When it comes to TF2 content on YouTube. Now,
I feel like for short video, over 40 timestamps would be weird.
Came to a grinding halt on my end, so I moved
on
to some
timestamps.
different video projects. So it was
Regions
my
of the
Discord
video
that carried the movement over the next 2.5 months. No Zero, a fellow Australian TF2er, found him on March 12th taunting and zapping his way to the front line with the short circuit. The following day on March 13th, we caught a fake Bing Soy who tried to join the Discord, or at least we think they were fake, because Mr. Soy seems to be a pretty elusive dude who rarely communicates in game, so seeing him join my Discord felt a bit unlikely. In late March and early April, there were a bunch of screenshots of him in game, and then on the 3rd of April, No Zero made his own video compiling his interactions with Bing Soy, and to be honest with you, it's bloody beautiful. We got to see more of his Pyro Shark, more of his taunting, and more of his affinity towards jumping off the map. So look, at this point it had been a while, but on the 22nd of April, I decided it was time for me to return. So I once again put on my boots and picked up my camcorder because we were going hunting. It's almost been 2 months since I last watched Bing Soy. Here he is. Let's see. Hell yeah. I don't think he recognizes me, he knows who I am. I've seen his website. I think he knows what's up.
He's just standing there menacingly.
He's so odd.
That's his whole character.
Bing Soy is taking a break, taking a breather.
Not looking at the mountains, looking in the
He's
corner.
He's in. Oh, yeah. I think he did something. Let's see what Bing's up to. Wait, what? Oh, he's got the bind set up. He wants the good spawn. The Bing Soy.
Okay.
What is he doing?
He almost killed himself.
He's getting himself low so he can escape that in. God bless. Again, more of the same wacky strategies we were all accustomed to.
Not
but
making the
at
game
this
more
point,
difficult for
I really
himself.
wanted to get deeper with Bing Soy and understand the mentality behind everything he was doing. Later that day, though, my Discord discovered a fresh upload on the Bing Soy channel called Uncletopia Caber Bubba. And as the name suggested, it was a cool
On the main
montage
one?
of him going around harassing inferior enemy gamers with the sticky jumper and Caber combo. The interesting thing about this video is that it actually went on to get some attention in the algorithm. At the time of writing, this video has almost 10,000 views, which is the most successful video on Bing Soy's channel to date. He actually does some really cool work with the demo system in this video.
You're also
playing around
talking
with
about
different
him a
camera
lot.
angles, so it's good to see that his channel was starting to get some more attention. We also continued to get some more sightings, as on the 12th of May, Var from my Discord noticed he had a Game Banana account and had created a new hit sound and a custom model for the sticky jumper. On the 29th of May, Digger Derby found him taunting his way around the best map in the game, CP Steel, and on the 3rd of June, No Zero managed to pocket him with the quick fix all the way behind the enemy team on Upward, where he did the classic demo-based jumper sticky strategy over the wall. I ended up running into him on the 12th
Just
of
in
June
the
on
hole.
Steel, where he was doing some strange exploration of the cliff face around point E. I also managed to score a high five with him on the next map Upward, where he went and redid that strategy of shooting stickies over the wall to the first spawn area. My
Dying.
absolute favorite Bing Soy sighting happened later that month on the 28th of June, where we got a dual perspective of a beautiful moment that unraveled.
Holy shit.
I don't think I've ever seen someone flick faster in my life after a taunt to get a kill, and boy was it something. As the investigation entered July, it actually started to pick up some momentum yet again, as I found myself running into
That's
him
more
on
from my
Uncletopia
theory
quite
about him
frequently.
being
Things kicked
too
off
good
on
at the
the
game
1st
that
of
it's
July,
boring.
where I found him taunting on
So he's
cooldown
doing
with a
weird
scored
stuff
shot,
to make
absolutely
himself
determined to get a
entertained.
kill with it. Oh, he's
Keep
doing
him-
what I do, where you shoot the other way with it. Like, what? 10 days later, on the 11th of July, I was playing with people from my Discord when, yep, you guessed it, Bing Soy was playing on Uncletopia. He continued to sticky trap our spawn and spam pipes out at seemingly nothing. Eventually, he did come out of his shell somewhat and started playing around as Pyro and Huntsman Sniper. It was during this session, and at this point in the investigation, that I finally mustered up the courage to send Bing Soy a friend request on Steam, as given how the vibe was pretty chill on the server, I thought it was more likely he would accept. However, it seemed that he ignored my invite for the moment and instead
Okay.
Changed his profile picture. Why? Bing Soy. He always does this.
which is something he actually did way back on the 31st of January whilst we were playing on Badlands.
Oh, he changed it back.
He changed his profile picture.
Mid game.
What? He changed it live. Who does that?
I don't know what prompts him to do this, but hey, he's a free man changing his profile picture and doing whatever he wants. It was pretty late at night at this point, so I decided to get some sleep, but one of our Discord investigators named Sleepy actually decided to stick around with Bing Soy, which led to some very important developments when I woke up. Now, the first important
he writing a
development is that
message?
Bing Soy accepted my friend request on Steam, which marked a nice progression in our relationship.
Yay.
The second part, which absolutely
Congrats.
blew me away, was Bing Soy's profile picture. Now, you remember that he changed it mid-game to this weird distorted close-up of the sniper, but the original one he had selected contained some secret messages within it. You can see that in the foreground is Bing Soy's character sitting on a bench in this kind of
Yeah.
cosmic spacey
And
setting.
the
What
YouTubers
Sleepy
behind him?
discovered, however, is that in the background were 3 different drawings. We can see that the drawing on the right is a light bulb, which represents my admin Corey's pyro loadout. In the middle is a little cube, which represents No Zero's profile picture.
Yeah.
And most interestingly, on the left is Bing Soy's drawing of an actual photo of me. Yeah, that's right. It's a photo I used on Discord for a month or two too. It's a photo I use on my second channel, and it's also still my current
Yeah, it's on
Twitter
the same
profile.
photo.
You can see the necklace, you can see the beanie, and you can see the thumbs up, so this absolutely blew me away. Now, the reason we became aware of this information is because investigator Sleepy managed to ask Bing Sui a bunch of questions whilst it was just the two of them on Uncletopia late at night. And you can see in this transcript that Sleepy asked, "Are there any TF2 YouTubers you enjoy watching?" And Bing Sui responded, "Look at my profile pic." Sleepy then followed up with, "Are those three in your profile picture the only YouTubers you watch?" Which Bing Sui responded to with a no. So Sleepy asked, "But are they your favorites?" Which Bing Sui responded with yes.
I mean, if
Hello,
this is his
hi
favorite
there,
game.
This is Editing El Maxo here, and I actually have to let you know something that I've learned since I wrote the script for this video. You see all the lovely questions Sleepy prepared and Bing Sui responded to in this text document? Well, they were actually sourced in quite an unbelievable manner. We know Bing Sui isn't big on communicating
Well,
through
by
text or
shooting in
voice
the
chat,
letters,
so to
I'm
get the
assuming.
answers to these questions, and I kid you not, Sleepy spent
Yeah.
almost 2 hours in the middle of the night going around Koth Lakeside having Bing Sui either shoot at letters on signs or draw them with bullets or use the Scottish Resistance to spell them out, which Sleepy would proceed to transcribe in text chat, and Bing Sui would shake his head if they were right. It wasn't just like typing out messages. He had this whole process, and I had no idea about it when I wrote the script for this video. Sleepy has the full 1 hour and 47
He's playing
minute
without
recording on
most
his computer,
button
but
on
he
his
sent me through
keyboard
this
to make
small
it more
section to prove
difficult.
it, and oh my god, what the fuck. I had no idea Sleepy went to such lengths to secure some answers from Bing Sui, so I have included the full transcript in the description, and a big thanks to Sleepy again, because that is dedication to the cause. But god, finding this out the next day sent me spinning. We were now even deeper into the Bing Sui rabbit hole, and I was all for it. It was at this point that I knew I had to make a documentary on this, because the story so far was too goddamn interesting to pass up on. Sleepy also collected some more footage of Bing Sui whilst I was asleep, and it was some of the strangest stuff I've seen so far. The next day, whilst I was playing on Bomb Blitz, I came
He's
across
hallucinating
Bing Sui
in
yet
game.
again, hiding in a bush as Huntsman Sniper. You may again recognize this clip because it featured in my last clip dump and marks Bing Sui's third official appearance in an El Maxo video. So look, it was clear at this point that the
In
way
the
Bing
El
Sui
Maxo
played
universe.
TF2 was strange. I don't think anyone could deny that, but we still didn't know why. What fueled the man behind the mask? Well, we could theorize,
It's a different
we could come
picture.
up with some wild speculation, we could continue to observe him and maybe edge just that little bit closer to an answer, but why would I do that? If I wanted to know the truth, I had to ask Bing Sui directly. So I conjured up this grand message with 5 questions in it. Number 1 was what compels you to play the game like you do. Number 2 was what is your favorite unconventional strategy to use. Number 3 was do you have any long-term goals with TF2 or your YouTube channel. 4 was have you enjoyed the increased level of attention you've gotten in the past 6 months. And 5 was what piece of advice would you give to the TF2 community. I didn't really want to poke and prod into his personal life, but I did want to get a better idea of what made him tick in
Fair
TF2.
enough.
I wasn't fully sure
Yeah,
if we'd get
that's
a response
understandable.
given how private Bing Sui seems to be, but given Sleepy managed to ask him some questions, I was praying we would get some form of response. And so I waited. And I waited. And I waited. But I never got that response from Bing Sui. I tried this last-ditch effort of investigating him whilst he was on Upward, and just as you'd expect, he was on his favorite pick, Huntsman Sniper. He was getting kills, he was taunting a lot, and hey, he even went for a game-winning shot whilst he fell off the map to stop the enemy team from capping. But that was it. So I sat there, I reflected, and I had a sort of
This is
epiphany,
mystery
because I think Bing
unsolved.
Sui can teach us a lot about TF2. You know, we don't always have to lean on what's meta. We don't have to keep going back to the loadouts which we are most comfortable with. We don't always have to obsess over the objective and sweat our asses off. Sometimes it's good to get out of our comfort zone and try and unlock that we've never used before. After playing TF2 for so long, I think we subconsciously lock ourselves into these rigid playstyles and fail to experiment and push the game to its limit. You know, I get that you have 20,000 kills on your strange sniper rifle, but maybe on that next life you could take a note out of Bing Sui's book and give the Huntsman a go. Or maybe the next time you're on
I
demo,
think I did play
swap out that iron
Sniper
bomb
with
that
a
you love
bow.
so dearly and
I'm not
try
sure if
out
it's the
locket
same
bow.
bow.
And hey, it has been a while since you used the holiday punches heavy, hasn't it? So you know what? Maybe Bing Sui isn't so strange after all. Honestly, I think he encapsulates the beauty of TF2 so well. So look, maybe Bing Sui will respond to my message one day. Maybe he'll provide me with all the answers.
Fine.
Maybe Bing Sui will respond.
Say hi. Say his name. Bing Sui.
To my message one day.
Do I say it 3
Maybe
times
he'll
in the
provide
mirror?
me with all the answers I
And then
want,
log in
We'll reach a nice and clean
Bing Sui,
resolution to
okay.
the enigma that is Bing Soy. But honestly, I don't really want him to. That's where things were supposed to finish. I had a poetic ending all thought out, but one day I noticed a Steam notification when I got back to my PC from Bing Soy, and he had sent me a link to a Google Drive folder. I did record a live analysis of discovering this folder with fellow investigators Corey and Sleepy, which I will weave in at times, but it was honestly a mess, so I'm just going to do some post-commentary to explain everything that happened after this point. The Google Drive Bing Soy gave us contained 4 files. The first was a file named Elmaxo's Questions, which, as the name suggests, contains those questions I mentioned earlier in the video. The next file, called
Does it
Reasoning,
contain answers?
only for my eyes as directed by Bing Soy, but I will say that he gave me express permission to use everything else he sent in this folder in the video, so don't worry about that. Next up was a folder named Main Images, which contains the bulk of what we are going to be analyzing, but before I get to that, I want to discuss the contents of Other, which contained 3 images. The first was a drawing titled Stick, which contained a stick figure drawing of my soldier with his tyrant's helm, along with my little dog Mackie on the shoulder. I also presume that it's Bing Soy on the right, but what I found a little distressing is the straight expressions on their face, which don't suggest much happiness, which is a little sad. The next image was called Sticker, and this contains something similar to those visuals we saw in the intro to his video, Requiem.
It's a bit ominous.
A little distressing. We can
The
see someone
coloring
who seems to be isolated from a group of people, but we'll talk a bit more about this later. The final image in the folder was called Strangest, which seems to be an MS Paint drawing of someone approaching a house in the woods. I'm not sure how to interpret this, and the only thing I could really recognize was a TF logo in the window, so if you have any ideas as to what this may mean, be sure to leave it in the comments. I will admit that folder was quite
It's an announcement for Team Fortress 3.
I'm not sure how to interpret it, but the most important stuff for
3
us
images.
is the folder
Images
named
after all.
Images, in which Bing Soy has not written his answers out to my questions, but instead drawn them. We can start with question 1, which was what compels you to play the game like you do, and here was his response. The first image, which depicts someone pouring a liquid into a glass, we deciphered to mean experimentation, which confirms our belief that Bing Soy
not
likes to
alcohol?
push boundaries with the strategies he uses. The second image depicts a little astronaut on the moon with a flag, which we believe to mean a sense of accomplishment. Maybe Bing Soy wants to be the first person to
that's
popularize
their
these
thought.
strategies and make them more well known.
Do
One thing we
something
weren't sure
that
about
wasn't
was
done
to be a
before.
little play button on the moon, so perhaps he wants to grow his YouTube channels with these different types of strategies. We weren't 100% sure. The third image we jokingly deciphered as genuine insanity with the eyes. We didn't realize it at the time, but as famous YouTuber It's Feckin' Raw from YouTube channel It's Feckin' Raw told us, is that this was a drawing of a character from the game Encryption. Now I'm not going to act like I have ever played it, so I'm not actually sure what that symbolizes. The fourth image seemed pretty obvious.
I haven't played
and
it
we think
either.
This means Bing Soy wants to level up his intelligence in game with what he can do. I mean, it's no surprise, but by doing all these wild strategies, Bing Soy is definitely going to have a more broad knowledge of TF2 and how it works. And finally, the image I found most interesting was a little Bing Soy on scales. It seems that he thinks that there is more negativity in the TF2 community, as symbolized by the broken heart weighing more, and Bing Soy wants to use his wacky playstyle to bring more love and positivity to the community.
Yeah, I didn't want to pause it, but is this around the time where people were screaming at Valve because there were too many bots and they wanted to Valve to pay attention to it, to update the game, to fix some issues that the game has and had for a very long time? Maybe that's why, because that negativity went outside. There is probably a lot of negativity, as about any game in the game's community, but that kind of stuff came out of the Team Fortress 2 community, and I heard it even though I'm not a part of it. Is that the case, or was it after that? Was it maybe even before that? And he wants to add, even though there is negativity in the game,
which I think is really admirable. So,
he wants to
answer
add
why
more
Bing Soy
positivity.
plays the game so differently. It's because he likes to experiment. He wants to be the first to succeed with these strategies. He's insane. Kidding, I don't fully know about this one. He wants to level up his intelligence, and finally, he wants to bring more positivity to the community. The second question I asked him was what was his favorite unconventional strategy to use in TF2, and the answers are a lot more direct here. At the top left, we can see the classic Girardi and Bushwhacker combo, which I will admit I personally don't think is all that unconventional. The bottom left is a strategy we have seen a lot of in this video, and that is the
Jump
Bing
off and
Soy
shoot, yeah.
trademarked suicide huntsman plays he loves to do. Finally, and what was one of my favorite pieces of art he made for this, is the Pyro Shark, which of course means that one of his favorite unconventional strategies also happens to be Pyro Shark. The third question I asked him was if he had any long-term goals with TF2 or YouTube, and this one was interesting. The first image here is easy to decipher, and it's clear Bing Soy really likes YouTube and wants to see his channel grow, which I can definitely relate to. The second image was a little complex, so we'll take it bit by bit. The middle
I'm
one
gonna
is an
say
introduction.
he's pretty good at pixel drawing, or however it's called. I can't remember at the moment. mean, it's not that difficult, but he put a lot of effort into it to make things look the way he wants them to look.
Sign, which we assume means that
Not
Bingsoy wants to put out some educational
necessarily
content.
could have drawn them in
Demos,
paint
which,
like
as
he
we've
did
seen, is
before.
actually really good with using the demo system. Secondly, video making in general. Thirdly, we weren't too sure about. And the fourth one kind of looked like a strategy or maybe movement. We weren't entirely sure about that. The third image was a wholesome one. As we can see, is a love heart in a little film reel with my Tyrant's helm, No Zero's icon, Corey's light bulb, and Uncle Dane's Engie, which may mean there's a video coming out or maybe even some potential collabs. I'm not sure, but it seems pretty exciting. The
Unless
final
he
image,
likes
or
your
rather group of
videos.
images, was all of Bingsoy's different YouTube channels linking into one main area off screen. So maybe this means a central channel is coming, or a crossover, or maybe even a Bingsoy cinematic universe, which would be very awesome. So to summarize this third one, we can see he has goals about growing his channel, making some educational content, a potential collab or video with some other creators, and perhaps some more crossover with his animation and music channels. The fourth question I asked him was what were his thoughts on the increased level of attention he has gotten from the community in the past 6 months. And this answer was both intriguing but also saddening. The first image relates back to one of his
I would
drawings in
assume.
the first response, where he feels that the TF2 community has more negativity than positivity, and he wants to balance it out. Now after this, it actually tells a bit of a story with the timeline of images, starting with Bingsoy on the left being found by myself, No Zero, and Corey. The attention from us, and I assume the wider community, prompted Bingsoy to blow the metaphorical dust and webs off his camera, or in this case, his YouTube channel, and started making videos again. We can see he did this cool little drawing representing his Caber video, and was surprised by the amount of positive attention it received. This has led him to being surprised by all the people who recognize him in game, and has also made him a lot more stressed about making videos, as it's a time-consuming process, and don't worry Bingsoy, I definitely hear you on that one. Now in the next image, we can see that Bingsoy sees all this new attention as a double-edged sword, because he is grateful for it, having his work seen, but is also stressed out, which makes sense after gaining a lot of eyes on you so quickly. The next image I wasn't all too sure on, so
You could say that him making videos would do it, and kind of his own fault. He's doing it for attention, so he gets attention and he's stressing out about it. But here it's not him at all. It's like the bigger, much bigger YouTubers and YouTube channels. I forgot the word. Featured him on their channel, so it's not an attention that he himself created that he would have expected. It came unexpectedly, and with that came the stress.
Sleepy and Corey give their live analysis.
I think it's like he's showing that he's going towards the future, and while the future is uncertain, he feels as though he's avoided sadness or something similar.
Yeah, because I know previously with TF2 he did quit for a bit.
Yeah.
Because of the community, so this like new approach might be, whilst it's not he doesn't know what it could be, it's not the negative.
Yeah, I think he's going towards an uncertain future, but the timeline shows that there were a lot of decisions being made in his past that led him to this point, and it's unknown what's gonna happen next or decisions he's gonna make and not make.
Community,
but he's there.
The next image shows Bingsoy by himself around a group of people, showing that he feels isolated and disconnected from those around him who he plays TF2 with, which is something that makes me sad. One thing I've wanted to avoid in this video is otherizing Bingsoy, which I get I can't completely avoid given the bizarre nature of how he plays the game, but it does break me a little that he feels this way about the community around him, and that's something I definitely want to fix. The final image shows this giant magnifying glass with an eye staring down on Bingsoy, which links back to the idea of the stress of all the attention on him and having everything he does watch. The final question I asked Bingsoy was if he had any advice to give the TF2 community, and it actually appears he doesn't. I found this interesting because he perceives there to be a lot of negativity in the community, but maybe he doesn't see it as his role to comment on and give advice to everyone about, as he may just see it as his own
does it
personal
matter?
role for him to do his best on to improve the state of things. The final two images in this folder,
He might feel his voice is not strong enough.
Features his new little logo for his Team Fortress stuff and a little thank you, which I am honestly honored to receive. I decided to make this my desktop background because it looks really sick, and I am really thankful to have discovered Bingsoy, who's taken me on such a wild ride for the past half year. So that's everything. I didn't expect any of this, and I wrote a script as if he wouldn't respond, but to my surprise, we actually got some answers. I think the way Bingsoy plays TF2 is great, because it's easy to fall into these rigid playstyles we become accustomed to after many years of playing, and he breaks that entirely. Whilst I will admit that even sometimes I can't comprehend what he's trying to go for with his strategies, that doesn't really matter, because he's just a dude playing the game how he wants to, and picking up some video-worthy clips in the process. So look, to tie this all together, I want to give you the ending I wrote to this documentary, assuming Bing Soy wasn't going to respond, because I think it actually ties everything together really nicely. There was actually one question Sleepy asked Bing Soy during that late night session, which I purposefully left out earlier, but I do want you to hear it now. He asked Bing Soy, "Do you have any advice for other people? What's something you'd like to convey?" To which Bing Soy responded, "Keep an open mind." So maybe, just maybe, the next time you see a
Definitely he answered there, but he didn't answer
when you happen to have the huntsman
on that
equipped,
pixel
why
art
not go
style
for that
thing.
shot? I think it's what Bing Soy would want us to do. Thanks for watching.
Okay. This is a pretty interesting video in on itself, and a very interesting guy. I don't know what to say that hasn't been said. Yes, he might be strange to an outside viewer, but he does what he enjoys, and isn't that what matters? He might be playing the game unconventionally. He might be not caring as much for the main goal of the map or whatever. But he likes what he does, probably. That's why he's keep doing it. I feel like there will be negativity from people who do want to play the game and want to specifically win, and see him as being unhelpful maybe at times, especially when he just stands staring at the mountain and staring at the corner of the map. But I feel like if he does what makes him happy, just keep doing it. Ultimately, opinion of other people doesn't matter, and it is just a video game. I know it's a weak mindset to say it's just a video game. Sorry, Ninja. But it is. Anyway, thank you, everybody who watched this. I appreciate it a lot. I hope to see you next time, and goodbye. Have a great life, because one of us has to.